welcome back to the Lift Your Life podcast, and we do have a repeat guest. And actually, the person I've got on today, it's quite exciting. Actually, was my first ever podcast guest, and that was back when it was the Barbells Bikini and Fizz. So we've had a bit of a switch up since then. But yours is one of the most listened to. It is one of my most listened to podcasts. You have been asked to come back a few times. One of my best friends, Emma, and one of my clients, absolutely loves that podcast. And when she found out that you were coming back, she's literally like fangirling. So Emma, you better be listening to this. So I've got Ella back on. Now, if you haven't listened to it, if you scroll right back, way back to episode 1, go give that a listen, because in there we talk about Ella's backstory, how she got into bodybuilding, fitness, and all that. So we're not going to cover that today. But what we are going to do is just have a bit of a catch up as to what has happened between May's time last year and now, because a lot has happened in Ella's life, and just have a bit of a chat about her prep. But if people don't really know who you are, what you've been doing, just give yourself a little bit of an introduction, because it's kind of the given, isn't it, that you have to do that.
Yeah. I feel like you have to introduce yourself, don't you? Otherwise, some people might be like, who's this?
Yeah.
No, so obviously my name is Ella, as you mentioned, also known as els.fitness on Instagram. I can call myself a bodybuilder now because I've competed. I'm a bodybuilder, and I'm currently in prep, and I'm also now an online coach, which I guess we'll talk about as well.
Yeah, because a lot has happened now. I remember chatting to Ella back literally as we finished that last podcast. She was literally mentioning that she was kind of contemplating getting into it. At that point, it was a secret announcement that she was going to be signing up with Insight. And at that point, yeah. So I remember I had to shake a bottle, and you're like, oh, so speaking of that, we've got an announcement tonight. So that's happened, and obviously the prep's happened. So when we caught up last, like I said, you only just kind of signed up with Insight. You contemplated online coaching, but you hadn't got into it. And you'd unfortunately had that really, really horrible, you prepped all that time, and COVID happened, and you were kind of just reversing out a bit. So let's kind of break that down a bit. So let's first talk about Insight, because what has happened with that? So what has your journey been like with Insight? Obviously, you did Body Power, you've been working with them for over a year. So let's just talk a little bit about your experience, how that came about, and what you've been finding working with a brand, you know, as an influencer and all that jazz.
An influencer. That's so funny. No, honestly, Insight are absolutely incredible. Mm-hmm. I think that was probably such a big moment for me, for someone like a brand like Insight Subs to notice me when I didn't have many followers, and I still don't have a lot, but I've obviously grown quite a lot since then. Mm-hmm. And for them to notice me, notice my potential before I stepped on stage was just incredible. And I have not looked back once. They are such an amazing brand. They give me so much. Danny, who owns Insight, is like a friend to me. And the support they give me is insane. So yeah, I think what a lot of people as well don't realize is with brands and stuff, I know that a lot of brands will ask for a lot. Mm-hmm. So brands will approach you and they'll say, oh, can you post this amount of times on your story, this amount of times per week? You have to include this. You have to put this in your bio, blah, 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 blah. Whereas with Insight, it's very raw, very organic. Like the one thing that I really loved when I spoke to Danny was that we're not going to ask you to post X, Y, Z. You post what you would. We have found you for a reason. We like your content. We like what you do. Why would we ask you to then stop what you're doing already and start doing it differently? Yeah. And I think for me, that's been like the best thing, because I've been able to just feel no pressure from it, be able to post things when I want to. And I think as an athlete and as someone on Instagram, that means a lot to me, because I don't want to be fake. I want people to know that the things that I'm using are because I genuinely like them and I'm not being forced in any way. And it's all just pure, realness.
Sure. And I agree. Now, I've known the Insight guys for ages, because their shop is literally around the corner. It's actually even closer from when it was last time. Like literally, because I moved my own flat. You go out of my flat, you walk across a bridge, it's there. They are that close to me, which is pretty lethal, to be fair. But they are, like you said, very, very genuine people, the guys who work there. And it's nice to see, because all of you guys, who are on the team, you are all incredible in your own ways. And you see these athletes and people like yourselves who get caught up with these brands, and you can just tell that what they're posting is so forced and fake. Like, I use this, I love it. Do you though? Do you?
Really?
And it's nice to be able to even see that on your stories. You can give genuine reviews and genuine, it feels real. And because I watch it sometimes and I'm like, oh, I need something new. I'll see what these guys are reviewing and what they're liking. And you do actually believe it, because you can just sense that it is all your opinions and values.
Yeah.
Let's have a talk about that. I love socks. So what are your favorite things? Like, what would be your like go-to shopping? This is one of the questions I was going to ask, but I'll do it now early, bring it forward. Like, one of each product, maybe your top 5 staple products, your favorite from. Oh no, I can see the panic in your face now, thinking I can't do 5. 5 products, if you could only pick 5.
5 products.
Yeah, let's go with 5. 5's a nice number.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go for Perform Whey.
Yeah.
Like, the best protein powder ever.
I won't go anything else now.
I'm making my way through, and I've not quite tried all the flavors, but I would say I think my favorite is actually maybe carrot cake.
It's so good.
Because what I do is I'll have one, and then I'll be like, oh, this one's so good. Then I go back to a different one that I remembered was good, and I forget how good it is. And I've just come back to carrot cake after not having it for a while, and I'm like, holy fucking shit, this is actually very, very good. So I think at the moment that's my favorite, and it's really good on oats or baked oats. Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Perform Whey. I'd say a pre-workout, probably. Ooh. MV Pre.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go MV Pre.
Okay.
It's the GOAT, the best.
Classic. Yeah.
Revitalize.
Mm.
Now, I think I talk about this in my story pretty much every month. Probably one of my favorite products to get from Insight. I literally stock up on it every single month. But it's just like an all-in-one health sup, and it tastes amazing.
It does taste good. Is it the sangria one?
Oh no, my favorite's the strawberry kiwi.
Is that a new one? That newer?
No.
Has it always been strawberry kiwi?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I remember getting it when they first got it, and it was banging, but I don't know what it was. But it was nice, whatever it was, really nice.
Yeah, and then, are we going for like things that I enjoy, or
just if you literally had like you could only pick 5 more and that's it? What would you pick? It doesn't have to be variety-wise; it's just your personal favorites.
Oh God, I'm trying to think what I have. Cream of rice.
Oh yeah.
Have to be cream of rice.
Obviously. What flavour though? That's the question. That is the question.
See, I've not ventured too much into the flavors, but I'm like a chocolate, or like, how do you explain it? Like pancake or like maple syrup.
Yeah.
They are the flavors for me. I don't actually like. I tried the milk lollies one, strawberry milk. I don't like it.
No, I prefer the cakey flavour.
Cakey flavors, yeah. That's yeah. One of those ones. And then one more. Oh, why has my mind gone blank? I can't think of any of the supplements that they sell now.
Pre-workout protein, health subs, sleep, stress, digestion.
Neuro.
Oh, Max Neuro.
Support Max Neuro. An amazing product by Strong. Absolutely love that.
See, that's madness. That is literally so weird that they are literally 2 of the 5 that I'd pretty much say, to be fair. And the same brand. Literally Perform, MV Pre, probably cream of rice, Support Max Neuro, and
Revitalize.
See, I'd have probably switched out Revitalize probably for Hydromax, but pretty much the same. All 5 of that.
Yeah, banging products. Very solid.
Very solid. Very solid list there. Awesome. So let's talk about your online coaching now, because I remember you having a little bit of a chat with me last time, saying it's something that you were contemplating doing.
Yeah.
You kind of not really sure how to go about it, and now you've jumped feet first in, and it looks like it's going absolutely great. So what kind of made you go for it at the moment you did, and what has been happening with that side of your life? So you're still at uni, aren't you, as well? Or am I making that up?
No, I'm not at uni anymore.
Okay.
Finally.
Finally. So you're just pretty much fully working online now. Is that what you do?
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I'm building it up to be able to be what I'd class as a full-time income. It's not quite. Wouldn't say it's quite there yet.
Sure.
Without trying to like go into too much with the money side, but yeah, it's getting there. I did my master's.
Yeah.
In strength and conditioning, mainly because when we did the podcast last time, I wasn't really in a very good place, to be honest. I don't think I really spoke about it. When you're in that place, you don't really. But I was in a very bad place mentally. Like it was a very shit time of my life. I felt really down. I just had no purpose. I didn't really know what to do with myself. I thought that once I'd finished my undergrad degree, I'd feel like so relieved and like enjoy having to do nothing. But I actually hated it. I hated having no purpose. I just didn't know what to do. I couldn't do sports therapy, which is why I did a uni, because we were in isolation. I'd just come out of prep and I was thinking like, what do I do with myself? And I ended up getting into really bad habits of just like not waking up, like just laying in bed so long. And like, I just didn't have the desire to get out of bed. So yeah, it was very tough. And I think going to uni was like a way for me to go, right, let's do something with my life. But while I kind of like decide what I actually want to do. So I did the strength and conditioning degree. And while I was doing that, obviously I was contemplating online coaching, and I did coach a couple of people for free throughout lockdown and before, like when I was starting my degree, which was sort of nice because there was no pressure, and it kind of just showed me like I really enjoy doing this. I really enjoy helping people. And then I met Lewis, who's my boyfriend, and he's obviously an online coach as well, and he'd been doing it for like quite a while, and he said that, you know, he thinks I should do it. He helped me set everything up. He like showed me how to sort of go about things, and I literally created all these spreadsheets, documents, and I sat there for ages with it ready to go, and I just didn't for a while because I was so scared. I was like, what if I get no one? What if like it doesn't go right? How do I do it? Like, what do I do when people would inquire? Like, I just had no idea. And he kept telling me, just do it. And I was thinking, wow, I'll wait until there's a good time. And there was never a time when I felt like it was a good time. And then I just thought, right, fuck it, I'll just do it. I'd done everything that I needed to do. I just needed to announce it. And then I announced it when the day we went into lockdown.
Which one? November one?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Timing goals right there.
Good, isn't it? It was literally like my announcement was at 6 and the announcement of the like lockdowns before was at like 5. So an hour before people just found out we were all just going into lockdown. I was like, this is great. But it was good because I literally got to just get straight in. People obviously, you know, when you're going into a lockdown, like people were kind of coming to me like, oh, I need help. I don't know what to do. I don't want to be lost. So it was quite nice to take on a few girls. And I think I wasn't aware of how things kind of would work. And when I initially set it up with like the link for the consultation and stuff, I got so many inquiries, but then like I think I only had like 5 clients. Like I got, for the amount of inquiries I got, not a lot of people replied to me. Sure. And I was like, I wasn't ready for that. I was like, I spent so long like replying to every single person individually and thinking like, oh my God, like all these clients, I'm gonna have all these clients. And then like people would just ghost me. And I was like, what? Why? What have I done? Why do they not want to reply? Or why have they changed their mind? Anyway, I then, built that up. I took some of the girls all throughout lockdown. It was so fun, like seeing them like thrive in their house, like training. It was just, it really, really kept me going. And do you know what? It was so hard to juggle with uni. And I do think that my master's degree suffered because of it. Like I wasn't able to put in the time or the effort. And I think it was very, very time consuming for me. But I think everyone has that, don't they? Like it does take up a lot of your time while trying to like do multiple things at once. And I do think I also like lost a lot of friends and I lost contact with a lot of people because of it, because I was so like clients, uni, my own bodybuilding, it was all just like taking over my life. But I've obviously built it up now. Clients have come and gone, and I think initially when I lost my first client, it was horrible.
Yeah,
it was devastating. I cried. I think the first 4 or 5 clients, every time they'd like message like, hi, like I don't think this is for me anymore, which is absolutely fine, by the way. Like I don't mind, like if I've taken someone on a journey and they've decided it's not for them or they've got to where they want to be, it's fine, like it's great. But at the time when it's your first one, you think, oh my god, like what do I do? Like why do they want to leave?
You take it personally, don't you?
Yeah, very, very personally. But it's all part of the process, and it's kind of something that I've learned to be completely okay with now, and I'm definitely in a good situation now. I've found my own ways of doing things. I've found my own like what's it called, like ethos, and like just the way I want to do things and the ways of setting people up and stuff, and it's all really, really good now, and I genuinely like the best thing I've ever done.
Good. I'm glad. I knew you'd smash it. I knew you'd love it. I'm glad you've just done it. And to be honest, I think maybe in some respects doing it during the lockdown was good because people will have maybe you would have got no one because people were just happy cruising along. But
yeah,
lockdowns for some people have been the deciding factor to jump in with that. But that's great. So when we were catching up last, I don't remember what you were doing from like, and obviously it was in lockdown and garden sessions and what have you that we were doing back then. I know, so funny.
Okay.
But what point did you get with AJ? Did that happen after? And what was your journey been like from sort of like the off season that you had within like the garden sessions in the, and then the various lockdowns up until when you started prep earlier this year?
Yeah, so I started with AJ around November. I think it was November anyway. And obviously we did the podcast was it in the summer?
It was prep before my photo shoot, so it's like springtime.
Yeah, so I had all of that time without a coach from when lockdown kind of was all the way through until I came to uni. And Caitlin and Hannah were both really, really helping me. And I was kind of just like doing things my own way. And I think that in lockdown, training in my garden taught me a lot more than I've ever learned like in the gym. I really, truly believe I learned how to train properly in my garden. And it's mad to think about, but I like when I look back, I'm like at my training footage when I was training before to when I came back to the gym was completely different.
Yeah.
I had a completely different mindset, completely different like approach to training. A lot of that is down to Caitlin and Hannah for helping me with it. But like I fell in love with training. I think where I was in such a shit place, I was like, that was like my only thing to do. So that was my purpose for every single day. But it was, so I kind of did that, came to uni, continued. My food got really high. And I think I definitely pushed food higher than I realized because I was just following like meal plan kind of thing. And I got quite I don't want to say fat because I don't like saying fat, but I did put on a lot of body fat for me and got very, very uncomfortable, was pushing food really hard. I was like struggling to eat meals And I was just in this mindset of, I must just eat more. I just need to keep eating. Like, I just need to eat because I want to grow so much. And then training was going really well. I was really strong, strongest I've ever been. And then I knew I wanted to start with AJ. I actually knew that from last year. I knew I wanted to work for him, but I wasn't in the financial position to do it. But yeah, I started with him, and it was scary because just starting online coaching, I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't really have a proper income, or a stable income. I still don't really, but it's fine. And I was like, I said to AJ, I was like, I'm really worried that I'm just not going to be able to afford it, or I don't know, what if I lose all my clients and no one wants to continue with me, and then I can't even pay you. And he was like, Ella, believe in yourself. You're going to be a good coach. Just trust yourself. You are capable. So he was really helpful. I've learned a lot from him as well, in his coaching methods and the way he does things. I've learned from and use myself. And yeah, we went straight into a dieting phase, because where I'd pushed quite hard, my body weight, I was sat at 81, 82 kilos. And I just basically had spilled quite a bit. And he said if we was to prep, then it would be a very hard, disgusting and long push of a prep, because we'd have to push really hard for a long time. So we went into a diet phase, the pre-prep prep. I think that lasted 8 weeks, maybe a bit longer. I can't really remember, but that was good. I got into a nice position there. I think I got down to 74, 75 kilos. Then we pushed food back up. I got all the way back up to 80 again, but my body composition was so much better. I was eating less food, but better food, and yeah, everything was in a really good position. And then we started prep in April, and I was meant to compete in shows a bit earlier than I did, but I got COVID. That was fun. So I ended up just pushing back all my shows I planned, and I did 2 shows back to back.
You did.
Were UKDFBA Heart of England and PCA Midlands, and then got through to the finals, and here I am.
There you are. Amazing. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the bits of prep and a bit about the shows as well. Again, this is one of the questions I was going to ask, but it just seemed relevant to bring it forward. So this whole Q&A at the end is going to be really crap now, because I'm going to 2 questions. So I keep asking the ones that I wanted to ask, and other people have asked now.
Yeah.
But what have been the main differences? And obviously you actually did get to compete. That is probably the biggest significant difference. But in terms of your first prep, because you had a different coach, it was your first time, to now, what have been the main sort of differences in terms of, just everything, food, training, your mentality, things you maybe found easier, things you found harder? Let's just have a little bit of a chat about that.
I think it's been a very different prep, a very, very different prep. I'm definitely, the biggest thing for me is my food focus. My food focus in my first prep was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. I thought about food all the time, and I actually ate a lot of stuff that I wasn't supposed to eat while I was on prep. I think if I could try and count, it'd probably be about 20 times that I went off my plan. I just didn't take it seriously enough. But I think I don't blame myself. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't anyone's fault. I wasn't ready. I actually went out on a night out. When I look at it now, I'm like, some of the things I'm like, what? Did you really do that on prep? I went on a night out, drank alcohol, and then ate chips and chicken nuggets afterwards, but didn't even care. I didn't feel 1 ounce of guilt. I was like, yep, well, I'm just going to carry on now. The amount of times I used to dip my finger in the Lotus Biscoff spread, I also made a massive thing of Rocky Road for the rugby players that I did placement with. Ate one of them myself. I used to I got a lot of off-plan meals, which I think looking back was bad for me. It just the approach that my coach previously had was quite a lot of off-plan meals. If I got flat, he'd fill me up with an off-plan meal, but it would be burger and chips. Go and get a burger and chips, or go get a muffin. And at the time, I loved it. I was like, wow, this is so cool. Yes. But looking back, that was awful for me, because that just used to trigger me to want more. There was times when I'd have a burger and chips. I remember I got a burger and chips from a restaurant, ordered it, and they delivered me two portions, and I had them both. I had a pizza. I went to America, and it didn't even, when I look at it, I'm like, was I even on prep? Because I was eating out every day. It just seems crazy to me to think about. And this time around, I've taken that off season, and instead of going into a prep without any structure before, I've gone into this prep already following a meal plan, already sticking to everything. Obviously, I allowed myself freedom in my off season, but I was on a meal plan. So it was just there was no drastic change. It was just well, I'm just on prep now. So that helped my food focus massively. I think now, yes, I do have a bit of food focus. I do think about food. I am a foodie. At the end of the day, I love food, but I wouldn't ever contemplate eating something. It just doesn't align with my goals. And I think my goals are so much stronger this time around. I know what I want. I know what it takes. And that kind of keeps me motivated, instead of just going, oh, I'm just going to compete because I don't know, just because I am. I'm now I came into this prep I want to do this show, I want to win this, I want to go to do this. So that's the biggest sort of difference, I think.
For sure.
From this prep.
For sure. And what have you learned about yourself? I have a really deep question, but in terms of maybe your own love for the sport, maybe your own discipline, in terms of your physique, what needs to change, what needs to be improved, what have you learned most about yourself from this prep?
I'd say I've learned a lot of things. I'm trying to think of things off the top of my head. I think a big one is actually my approach to training. I think I allowed myself, I think it's fine, it's not a bad thing, but I became very emotionally attached to my training when I was in my off season, which is okay. And I think I needed that to sort of fall in love with training. But now I'm a lot less emotionally attached to numbers and progress in and I don't put so much pressure on myself. And I think I used to go into sessions feeling so anxious about a certain exercise, and it would just completely take over me, and I'd get so angry and so upset if I didn't hit a certain number, and I let that get to me too much, that it would just completely defeat the point of what I was trying to achieve. I didn't look at it as I want to grow my muscles, so I need to create a stimulus. I was thinking, I want to lift this amount on the hack squat because I just want to do that. So I would almost try and do it too quickly, or dumbbell presses was another one. I just used to want to dumbbell press. For some reason, I just wanted to dumbbell press to 25s. I just wanted to do it. I just wanted to be strong. And now I look back and I'm like, well, I probably wasn't actually getting a lot from that, because I was just moving weight without intent. So my training has definitely changed, and that's a lot to do with AJ, telling me to chill out, or telling me to just not worry about the numbers. So yeah, and I also think looking at myself on stage, when I competed. I know like everyone's going to be their biggest critique, but I do think an area that I thought that I'd built maybe more than I have is my delts. I think the way that I've trained my delts hasn't been how I maybe could have.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of something that I know for when I go into this off season coming, that I really want to like nail, and just like, because I think it's so easy with a lot of exercise, and I'm sure you see this with clients as well, like just moving weight, just like flinging your arms about and not actually like feeling like you're doing something or like actually connecting. So yeah, I think that's the main thing.
Me saying that's not even just for clients, that's myself. I'm the same as well. I can literally relate. I used to do the same with certain exercises. I'd be like, right. And I still do get that. I still like to get myself hyped with certain things, but like, get so emotionally attached to numbers rather than actually connecting. And I found myself, by actually connecting, I've definitely noticed progressions in certain body parts even now. So it's massive. It's so hard, isn't it? Because you just want to be stronger.
Yeah,
it's not like purely about numbers, is it?
And thing is, it's so good to feel strong as well. And I think that's why it's so difficult to detach yourself from it. Like I look back and I'm like, I used to scream in the gym. I used to make so much noise. Like, I'm sure you remember like the tantrums I used to throw at the dumbbells in my garden. And then I even took that into the gym, and like a video came up of me and Sanaya when we like used to train together on the pendulum, and I was like just shouting from rep 1 unnecessarily, and like wasting energy on screaming instead of actually trying to do the exercise. So you gotta laugh though, it's funny.
We all live and we learn, we get better, don't we? That's what we do. So in terms of, I guess a few people have asked this one, and I can actually kind of imagine what the question is as well, to be fair, in terms of sort of finals. Have you decided what you're doing?
Oh, okay. I feel like I should just talk about it because I don't want to
get it off your chest. Come on, get it
out.
I
don't want to be that bitch who keeps it all a secret. But so obviously they are on the same day, so annoying. But me being the stubborn bitch that I was going to try and do both.
I can just see that happening now, literally like jumping in the car, like go straight to the next one.
AJ said to me, Ella, just do one.
Yeah.
AJ was like, let's do PCA. And I was like, no, I want to do both. I was like, I'm going to do both. And I had it in my head. I was like, I am going to do both. I'm going to make it work. And I got excited about it because the thought for me of pulling it off was like, cool. I was like, that's fucking cool. If I could manage to go to 2 British finals in one day, how fucking sick would that be? But I've had time to reflect, and I've spoken to the guy who owns the UKDFBA show, because it obviously all depended on the running order.
Sure.
So it could be doable because PCA is in Birmingham and then UKDFBA is in Leicester. So they're like about just under an hour away from each other. So if PCA was in the morning and then UKDFBA was later on, I could do it. But they're not. They both basically figure for both is pretty much within an hour of each other. And I just think it causes unnecessary stress.
For sure.
And I don't want that. Like, I am doing it because I enjoy it. And I think just sort of reflecting upon the days on show days, I genuinely loved PCA so much. I loved it. I had the best day of my life, and not just because I won, but the actual stage was just so enjoyable. And I think looking back, UKDFBA, I didn't actually enjoy my time on stage as much. I think it's to do with the poses. UKDFBA figure, if people don't know, you just do your mandatories. It's just front relax and then side and then back. That's it. you don't have any variation. You're not allowed to do anything different with your feet. You're not allowed to do anything different with your arms. And you're not allowed to put your arms over your head. And then you just do an eye walk, and then that's it. Comparisons, and then you're done. And the amount of time, like, I was having to hold my front relaxed pose, it was just ridiculous. I was stood there like shaking, and I don't know, it just didn't feel like fun. And then I did obviously not do as well as I wanted on the day because of what they were looking for. It just wasn't what I had. And it was just a case of that I wasn't lean enough, which I knew that I needed to be anyway. But I think that's why I wanted to do both, because I wanted to come back and prove I can be better and I can be leaner. I can bring a better package, but I couldn't let go of PCA. So yeah, I'm doing PCA, in case that's not made it very clear. And yeah, I'm so excited. And then there's also like, I set my goals very high, and I set myself very high expectations, and I obviously want to win.
Sure.
I want to win. That's my goal. Whether it will happen or not, I don't know, but I want to win. So if I'm going into the show wanting to win, that would mean going to the overall.
Yeah.
And if I'm trying to do both shows, traveling, I just would hate to like ruin my look or not do well in one show and then ruin the chances of doing well in an overall if I did get into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I also, my friends, like Sanaya's doing.
I was going to say, it's going to be pretty cool. Like, loads of your friends are doing it. Like, the whole Instagram gang is up on the stage. It's going to be an epic show.
Yeah. And I know, like, Joe, I don't know if you know these guys, like Leah.
Yeah, Leah. Yeah, no, Leah.
Yeah, Leah's doing it. There's obviously, like, Sanaya, like I said. Just so many people are going to be there. And I just think the day is just going to be so fun. And I've got to hold myself back and go, Ella, you've got like your whole entire life of bodybuilding to achieve goals within the natural federations. Like, I want to enjoy this. So do what you enjoy.
Sure. I think it's the right decision. I'm really excited. I'm not watching it in the respect of I'm coming, but I will be like on the socials all day and what have you.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome. Really, really good. I think that's the right decision as well, for sure.
Yeah.
But I guess we've actually kind of covered most of the questions, to be fair, like what people have asked and what I wanted to ask. But one that lends itself nicely, just following on from that, I think we'll finish up on is long-term goals. So obviously, once this is done in a few weeks, what is the plan? Have you got a bit of a plan in terms of long-term, what you're wanting to do from an off-season? Are you wanting to stay within figure? What's the plan?
See, this is something that I'm kind of, I'm not really 100% sure right now. And I want to, I don't know, kind of figure that out. But from like the things that I've been sort of feeling the last week or so, I'm definitely going to take a lot of time away from stage. Obviously, after prepping last year, even though I didn't step on stage, I still went through the whole entire process. Haven't really taken a proper off season, really. Obviously, I did take an off season, but it wasn't like I'd kind of messed up the reverse diet. I just, that went tits up. Obviously, we went in a gym. So I've not had that full like off season to grow. So I definitely want to go into a very long-term off season, probably like a couple of years. And I think from making the decision, I literally made the decision to do PCA like yesterday. And I think from that, what I want to set myself as a goal is like when I come back, obviously I'm still going to be natural. And I think I want to achieve things within the natural federations. And I think if I could maybe do women's physique in UKDFBA, which is very similar to figure, it's more like PCA style. So you do a routine, you do different variations of poses. You can put your arms above your head. You can do a rear lat spread. You still got your heels on. So I think that's the sort of route that I'd like to go down, but that would require a lot more growth. Obviously, I need to be leaner than I am now. So I think right now in my head, that's what I want to set myself as a goal. And I'd like to go to Worlds when I come back. And I think what I was doing is I was wanting all of this so soon. Like, I want it now. Like, if I had a chance to be able to go to Worlds this year, I was like, yeah, oh my God. But now I'm looking at it, I'm like, no, let's set that for a long-term goal, because it's still going to be there. So that's what I want. I don't know, probably maybe do PCA again, depending on how that went. Maybe 2 Bros Naturals could be like another goal. But another thing I want to work on aside from that is just my business.
Yeah.
I want to be able to put time and effort into my business, and really, really grow that, and to be able to like just not be so consumed within my own journey. Like, prep obviously takes a lot out of you, and I want to be able to build my business up and be like a lot more financially dependent and get like a house. Me and Lewis have like plans of things we want to do, and I want to just live my life a little bit more. Like, me and Lewis got together like in a lockdown, and prepped together. We've not actually been on many dates or like done things together, so that's another thing that I want to kind of look to do a little bit more of. And yeah, that's kind of like my main goals, I guess, for long term.
Awesome. I think that ends really nicely, to be fair, ending on a positive with all of the exciting things for the future. Oh, that's awesome. So how many days out are you now? How long is it till finals?
17.
17, so that's what, just over 2.5 weeks, 2.5 weeks?
2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks. Super exciting. Well, I will be watching that, and I'm sure many people on here will be watching you over the next few weeks, not in a weird sort of way, but just keeping up with your journey and seeing how things go. And honestly, I'm really, really excited for you for your finals. You've done absolutely great I know it's like kind of a second prep, but you know, for your first proper actually getting on stage and what have you, you've been absolutely sensational. It's been awesome to watch. And I know loads of people listening will absolutely agree and say that you are great to watch, because you're real. You're a real person. There's no BS. When you're in a bad day, you tell people, you show people the highlights, you show the lows, and it's been absolutely immense. So yeah, I'm really excited to watch the rest. But just if people don't follow you on Instagram, that's all you really do, isn't it? Just like the Instagram. I think you did start YouTube, didn't you? I remember watching.
You know what? Actually, that's another thing I was going to mention. I'm just going to say it now because I am going to do it. I'm going to start up, like, come back and do YouTube properly. That's another thing I can do. Now that I'm not at uni, I kind of am debating whether to even like document like my show day, my finals.
If you can't, I think it would be immense. I really, really do.
Yeah. Or maybe even my peak week. That'll be my first video. And then me and Lewis want to do like 10,000 calorie challenge and stuff. Like,
honestly, do it.
I'm gonna be on the YouTube game. So I've said it here. So it's gonna happen.
Said it here now. You've held yourself accountable. Me and many other people will be angrily chasing you if we don't see that in the next few months. But no, that's been amazing. So thank you for coming back. Thank you again for joining us, everyone who's listened. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm sure we'll have Ella back at some point and just have a bit of a catch up and see what she's doing with her life and smashing YouTube.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.